Welcome back, everybody. Again, we're here with Sylvia and Lisa, both from the Northern Illinois Hospice and Grief Center. We've been talking about this butterfly event, and grab a pen and paper if you missed anything. We'll have the information for you again coming up. But we want to talk about all the amazing programs that you guys offer, because there's a lot more than I knew of, for sure.
Yeah. We've been providing grief support to the Rockford community for 20 years. And not just the hospice families, we support the entire community. We provide individual counseling, family counseling, support groups, and a summer camp for kids. And Sylvia's in charge of a lot of those things.
I am.
Yeah.
We try to reach families, like you mentioned, in so many different ways, because we know that after somebody dies, the journey of grief just begins for the family.
It's so rough. So
Yes.
tell us about the summer camp. Is this for kids who've lost a loved one? And what ages are we talking about here?
It's for kids who've lost a loved one ages 6 through 17.
Okay.
Our camp this summer is July 5th through the 8th, and we can host approximately 52 children. We offer a bus ride to and from camp, and we do a lot of camp-like activities, but also grief activities as well.
Is it a day camp or an overnight camp?
It's an overnight camp, 4 days and 3 nights.
What kind of benefit does that have for the kids who do it?
I think one of the main benefits for the kids who do it is that they're with other children who've also experienced a loss.
Yeah.
And they realize they're not alone with that. Because so oftentimes when they go to school, most of their friends can't relate.
Yeah. I mean, even for adults, honestly, if I know somebody who's lost a loved one, it's hard for me to talk to them. So for kids, it's really hard. You know your friend is hurting, but you don't always know how to approach them. So they must feel really alone when people don't want to talk to them about this stuff,
Sure.
you know?
Sure. And they, you know, oftentimes they just want to fit in and get along, so they feel like they're different.
Yeah.
And that's happened, and they
That's
don't
rough.
feel the same.
Do you need to sign up in advance then if you want your kids to go to this camp?
Actually, the application deadline was last Friday.
It was last Friday. Okay, but you do offer other services for kids beyond just the camp, right?
We do.
Is it counseling that kids can come in for?
We
or?
have one-on-one counseling for hospice family members and also for members of our community.
Okay.
And we are also trying something new this summer. We're offering a support group for teens.
Oh, what a great
will,
idea.
Yeah, it'll begin on Monday, June 18th.
Okay, can you still sign up for that?
You can still sign up for
Great.
that.
Okay, they just give you guys a call, check the website.
Right, just give us a call and our receptionist will send them to the right person.
Sure, and we have the phone number and website on your screen there for you right now.
And because of the response, we should mention to Camp Erin, because what we've noticed in the Rockford and Belvedere communities is that the number of applications keep growing.
Okay.
So we also provide support in many of the public schools. So,
Oh, that's great.
So for many people, they have trouble making it to our location for a support group.
Yeah.
So we often go to them to provide support where they're at and kids are at school.
Yeah, now you were talking about with the butterfly event, if you know you don't want to have to turn away a family if they can't afford it, so you have donors helping out. Is the same true with your other programs? If there's a family that really needs help and they maybe don't have the extra money to spend on it?
As far as our camp goes, there's no charge to families.
Oh, there's no
for
charge
that.
for the camp. Okay.
Our teen support group, there is a $30 charge
Okay.
for that, and I'm not sure about the donor part of that.
The other support groups, most of our support groups are offered at no charge, and individual and family counseling is offered on a sliding fee scale. So because we are a community-based hospice and grief center, we feel it our duty to serve everyone who has a need, regardless of their financial means. So if you have a need, contact us and we will help you.
Okay, and now should people concentrate more on coming to you guys if someone in their life is sick, or is this more for after the fact dealing with the grief?
Well, we do both.
Okay.
As a hospice, we focus on helping individuals who've been diagnosed with a terminal illness and they have less than 6 months to live. So on our hospice side, we provide comfort care, physical pain and symptom management, emotional comfort for the individual and their families. And after a loved one has died, we're still there, and we'll continue to be there. We're with our hospice families for 13 months after the loss of their loved one. And as mentioned, we serve not just hospice families, but the entire community. So Sylvia knows better than anyone that grief can appear at different times. So sometimes it happens after a death, and sometimes it can appear later.
Exactly, and the journey through grief is never a straight journey.
Okay.
It's more like a roller coaster ride up and down and all around.
Sure,
and
yeah.
You might think you're doing well one day or 1 minute, and the next minute, you know, you're feeling your grief again.
And something hits you. Now, a lot of people, I think, hear the word hospice and think, oh, it's going to be sad and depressing, but it seems like the opposite is true, that you're actually helping people kind of enjoy that person, right?
That's the goal. The goal, when an individual and family hear the words terminal diagnosis, it's shocking, and they often, the goal is to call Northern Illinois Hospice sooner rather than later, because we come in and we help the family. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
So we help the patient get comfortable, so they can live free of pain, and we help the family and the patient talk through some of the unfinished business and to get organized. So our tagline is "Live every moment," and that's probably the best way to think about it. Is when it's about living life and making the most of your life every minute that you have.
Instead of wasting those final days and moments just stressing, when you could be, you know, enjoying each other's company and really appreciating each other, right?
That is the goal. And for many individuals who have been facing a terminal illness, they want to be at home. And they want to be surrounded by the people and the things that they love. And hospice allows them to do that. It allows them to go home to what they love and to be comfortable and not to be in a hospital in a sterile environment, you know, but to live every moment as long as they possibly can.
What do you think are some of the most common misperceptions about hospice?
About hospice?
Yeah, what do people need to know that they maybe don't?
I think that, you know, of course, hospice is always related to the death experience, but the reality that it doesn't have to be uncomfortable or painful. You know, part of what hospice does is try to make the patient comfortable.
Sure.
And then also the fact that we help the families afterwards.
And that's so important to know, because I think a lot of people in this process probably feel very alone, don't they?
Sure, they do. And I think that life for them changes after the person dies.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but at least you guys can kind of give them the tools to cope with that grief and to do it in a healthy way, you know?
Right, right. And I think many times they're surprised by that, especially when they know in advance that somebody's dying. They feel like, you know, they've had time to deal with their grief beforehand, but quite often they're surprised that there still is a grief process to go through afterwards.
Sure. Let's circle back to this butterfly event that you guys have going on, because we want to make sure that as many people as possible are aware of this. It's such a beautiful idea. How did you come up with this idea? Because it's a giant group butterfly release.
Yeah, it goes back to our community roots. Is we wanted to do something that promoted healing for individuals. We wanted to do something that all ages could participate in, and we wanted to do something that celebrated the loved ones. There's so much sadness after losing a loved one, and in talking to some of the families that participated last year, they really found comfort in being able to do something that celebrated their loved one, and they also found comfort in coming together in a community of people who understood what that loss feels like. So in some level, it's the butterfly, which represented transformation and metamorphosis, also represented a release of emotions and a release of those feelings that they need to work through.
Gotcha. Unfortunately, we're out of time. It's such a great idea, though. If you do want to sign up, you can do that by calling 815-398-0500 or go online, northernillinoishospice.org. You do need people to register, though, by June 13th.